And the founder of the doctrines and destroys, the one going beyond the age, completely perfected for the awakened youth. God, Lord, supreme God, and teacher of gods and human beings. For the founder of the doctrines and you can touch the endowment to destroy. You can touch them being light. Black. No. You make a little light. You touch skin, become light. Black. Pure body, supremely pure, with the motion like a golden mountain, fighting the blazes in the three worlds, winner of the best, Lord, you are our strength. With supreme signs, fight like a faultless moon, color like gold, you are our strength. Dash free like the three worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you are our strength. The Savior of every great confession, the founder of every all understanding, the field of air with qualities like a vast ocean. To you, the one God's dust, like strength. The purity that breeds one from attachment, the virtue that breeds one from the lower realms, the one power of divine generosity, the downward that pacifying your strength. Those who are liberated from those are the path to liberation. The holy field qualified with realization, who are devoted to the moral precepts. To you, the sublime community intending virtue and respect. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all three ever devout homage. To all worthy of respect, bound with bodies as many as all realms, atoms, and all aspects, with supreme faith and pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star of his liberation and land of a lamb. An illusion brought to you for a moment. A great and life in the world. They conditioned as such. Through these miracles, pain will remain all seen. Subdue the foul faults and be delivered from samsara's ocean. Return by the waves of hatred and sickness. Page 15 for the hospital. I prostrate to the area triple T. Thou still a hero one time. The body one was felt in all masterful with the movement of freedom. Produce unsafe spending. Sharabucha, therefore, in emptiness, there is no discrimination, no constitutional factors, no element of soul, no There is
the one of the measurements of the church, you could assume it's not law, that
similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation in God. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shall return therefore because there is no attainment, but examples rely on profound perfection of wisdom. The man without obscuration and without fear, having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of their love. All those who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awakened, finds a possible perfect complete enlightenment, and relax on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, is the truth that does not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared. Kayata, Gali, Gali, Paraga, Parasamgati, Bodhisattva. Terapucha, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, to train the perfection of wisdom like that. Then Bhagavan arose from their concentration, and they into the Bodhisattva Arita, Chavara, saying, well spent, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. When to practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as it is, even the time is the majority of having not spoken, the venerable Sharavaputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Uchamara, those surrounding their party along with the world of gods, humans of service and indulgence, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the one. Page 25, Volume
当然그런 음식이라 그런 다 something sounds level
Static.
measure 그래
Gendiri.
근데 나 그런데 아니 지구에 되는 거야지 추냐 많이 벌어 나는 가든지 이제 되게 밤만인 줄 심지어 탐제를 편도 봐시 그야지 naturally 님바다 삼바고마 지기 텐쇼스라
Narilla. Correcting our intention that we will listen to this holy Dharma not just for you, but to solely benefit all of the kind other non-sentient beings who have been dear to one, like the parents of this life. So one will here reflect and meditate on this Dharma with that motivation. You want light?
말해 나 월급은 공개라
Yeah.
With that one, then heaven. Yeah, well, it's. Where?
Also, Hindi. Kulung komja, kulung komja. Ke jamna ke amare.
Yeah. So please correct your motivation. Don't worry about sounds.
Aya da kawa komlo. Ni jering ona do. Da tanda tuzu Xinjiang sawo den na la ya suzu Lam Rim beja chi. Da ji chunga de ni ko ga yo yin chen kawa congress ra.
Now rejoice in this time, which is a very kind of busy time. One has the opportunity to
Very new. Just change.
But I changed them just before the totally early charge. This is the same. I like that, I'm going to rechargeables, but they look like.
Adi opchida. Opchida. Da disko opchida.
Yeah, I switched it.
Da opchida.
Okay, how's that? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I can bounce sometimes it makes it.
Can you hear me with that?
Adi dbe konzo kona digor.
In the online one? Yeah.
Zido koda.
Ah, sorry.
Zido kawa go emda. Online koda. Ah, this.
Okay, thank you. So please think that particularly in this busy time, one has the fortune to study Lam Rim.
Oh yeah, da. Niwa tempo la jube go jamdo jangba sa. Tela ya ne. Tega shi che ro. Kanla de me kyas tuwe gyu sa. Isun do ra. Jamdo gyu de ne gyuni ro. Gyuni de garasina jigba dan teba. Jigba garasina nge song go dungi la jishin da ne. Kyewa chi mongondo lami kuma tawe che du kyas to na kyu chungu gi jamdo cha ro yo ro. Nge song go dungi la jishin da ro. Jigda je. Ta dile ta min lu den ta ga ya sares. Da ya min lu den thoya le ngara la nuwa min do ne kunjo sum chen samje. Pele jamdo che min lu den thoya che jamdo che bi na. Inde jamdo de kyu chungu jamdo osro. Da de ne min lu den thomne da de jib ju sha min do osro dong nyo ya jen ja le shas. Ta de ne kowa ji gi da dong e kre de chewa ji go dos. kowa de le tawa chi togo go dos. 사수도 단다 타워트에 누가 민도 어느 산지 코발라 겨와치 뭐 콜홈 먹어가지 대지도니 라니 조선은 just 데 규딩이 잠도 차거요레스로
So we were looking at what qualifies going for refuge, the doctrine being the doorway or gateway for going for refuge, and what going for refuge entailed in terms of objects and so forth. And in terms of refuge, we went over that there were two causes, the fear and the faith. The fear that one could take a difficult migration or a lower rebirth. Under that context, one wants to have a rebirth of high status. And also the faith that, does one have the potency to secure that or not, that high rebirth? No, one doesn't. So one looks to the three jewels, the omniscient three jewels, to again taken up a rebirth, and this is the motivation of initial capacity, striving for again that human rebirth and close the door to lower realm. But again, to be human again is not enough, because there is cyclic existence and one wants to be separated from cyclic existence completely and strive for liberation. Again, does one have the ability to get to that liberated state? Again, to be free from cyclic existence, one needs refuge in Buddha Dhamma Sangha. So this is a refuge of middling capacity.
다드네 다 라니 지보 거월에 타원나 지금도 저는 건진지 이제 세디게 파마니야 동행용도 뇽마레샤 대준비 심지 탐지 랑게 안에 베데 파치뇽 마치뇽 바 아니 엔델라 탕레 데버레샤 딘데 인자 대다 아니 동행에 껴베시 심지 탐지 거와다니 송고 동행에 껴스트베 니버디 탐다 수줄라 누워민도 껴베 아니 산제로 니버도 심지 탐제 거와다니 송고 동행에 껴베시 군조송에 껴스트베 잠도제나 다디 교침부 잠도차로 오레스라.
However, reflecting further, that not just oneself being liberated from cyclic existence is sufficient. There are other living beings who have been one's dear parent, one's father and mother, and the times that they have been there to one, there are no count, we cannot count. And they are also suffering. Who can protect or afford them protection from that suffering plight? Can oneself do it currently? No, one cannot. Who can do that? A fully awakened Buddha. So with that, one is thinking of the sufferings of beings that are experiencing not only the lower realms, but the general sufferings of cyclic existence. And with that mind of compassion develops great compassion, and that's the vast capacity practitioners resolve.
다 겹도스야 근데 주디 네다 디바단 대화제단들라 되네 대화제단들라 교육 군조성 연대시에 보내 아니 대화제야 연대시에 지 나딘데스토네 도거래 산제지 구 산제 군조 제원을 되네 아니 다음에 대화제야로 몰라 몰라면은 다음에 대화제야 아니 산제 이게 다 숭라 되네로 산제 이 숭라 되네 이제베 되어지야 다 산제 이 투라 되네 아니 원대게 되어서 뭐바되어서 내게 다 초군조 연대 신원들 내게 연대지요나 산제 네 주기 초군조들 연대는 되지요나 말하려면 더 보고도 산제네 뭐바되게 되어서 다 대화제단들 금진 수수 삼단단 담민다지 유대래 갑진당 것뭐 바데베 대화해야 돼 감상단나 야고여로.
Now, we said that for the mind that goes for refuge to be stable, there are two causal factors, fear and faith. In terms of the faith, that comes from seeing the qualities of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Firstly, in terms of Buddha, when you look at the qualities of Buddha's body, you get a type of clear face, a face of clarity. Secondly, when you look at the qualities of Buddha's speech, the face of conviction arises. And finally, when you know the qualities of Buddha's holy mind, you aspire to get that cessation, get that Dharma jewel in your mind. So really, you can use these reasons as that suit you, but what's important is aspiring faith. I'm going to get it. No.
다 인데게 겹스르베 주딜라야 아니 주니샤네 아니와 겹스르베 유응을 송하들라 아니 겹스르베 개비용을 송아스와 힐라데네 겹스트웨 유세 유딜라네 유용을 송아다 겹스웨 균젠세 디즈니시와
And now we identify the objects of, depending on them, the objects to go to for refuge. Page 59, if that's the same text as this. So the twofold division is identifying the objects of refuge and the reasons why they are worthy to be refuges. No.
다 겹스트웨 유딜라 당근을 거대오시나 숨레와 겹스트웨 유딜라 산예군조 초군조 군주군조 스테진숨 아니 산예군조디 아니 겹 더버부체로와
No.
초군조디 겹무체 군주군조 겹드베 다로 레스페나가나도 미네와지 네와 나데이나 아니 일라 멤버 거로 멤버 난신디 산예군조체 아니 메나신디 초군조체 아니 메요 난신디 군주군조체 어딘데시 베딘데간 상다시나 디고레스와
So identifying the objects of refuge that we go to, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, Buddha as the teacher, the Dharma as the actual refuge jewel, and the Sangha as helpers, much as a sick person or a patient needs a doctor, that's likened to the Buddha, the medicine they take, the Dharma, and finally, the Sangha are likened to the nurses that help heal.
아디네 도 베제타샤르와 당고 떠바 장어 주발레스 가실라니 니와 그 때네 요에 마시스 칼라 넘버 탐제 윤데 탐제 네 주바스 가실라니 니와 그 때네 요에 마시스 데 산제 군조스고 산제 군조들라 니와 군네 매베 인자 니와네 타베 타고 선서 산제레스와 아니 칼라 넘버 탐제 윤데 탐제 네 주와 나 넘버 탐제 윤데 요스 조된 주가 산제 딜라야 아니 전환지 심이요나 안 딜라야다 겹스도고 이레스 산주군주 추군주 군주군주 되게라야다 예외균 요마레 연대 차탐제 된대 요레스 연대 탐제 내 주르바스도 교육의 차제 매된 연대 차장 내된 조직 요나 아니 딜라야 전환나 심이요나 안 딜라 겹스도고 레스다
Now we begin then to look at Buddha's qualities, and in this quote, praise in the 150 verses, to one in whom perpetually all faults are definitely absent, to one in whom in every manner all excellent qualities abide. So to such a one, it is to that one who is worthy of refuge, one in whom all faults have been eliminated and all good qualities manifestness.
아니 대도되는 그루바다 대대는 내와시 아니 덤바 군조선라야 아니 떼바치야 텔라 닝구치야로 하젤라 랍제나 통용으로 아니 디 템발라 내오레스타 디 템바티 산주 군조다 초초로 산주 군조디 기승한서 시에마 도괴 템바다 롱게 템바 스니샤로 도괴 템바디 라오송 냠네샤 하과디 추 군조다 뭐디 도괴 템바 문에 차고로 산제 주기 도괴 주기 돈이 무슨 별로도서 도괴 템바레 람탐제 도괴 템바레 아니 남 답변은 소람 전환도 추군조 제tum 바지레 추군조 다워더시레와 아니 친이 상와도 돈람이 전에 샤고로와 근데 됐다 하과도 템발라 조스도 라오스 냠네라야 아니 주고고요레서 어디서 지송고요레와
The quotation goes on, to one in whom in every manner all excellent qualities abide, in case someone like that exists. It's right to go for refuge to him, to praise him, to attend him, and abide in what he teaches. The notion of praising such a valid being will come later. In terms of what he teaches, the doctrine, we touched on it previously. The doctrine is the twofold scriptures and realizations, and the scriptural side of the doctrine we mentioned was those three: ethics, concentration, and wisdom training, and that the realizations of which the second part of the doctrine is really the sublime jewel of Dharma, because once those insights are there, it's a valid path, isn't it? And we would say that those insights, in terms of the paths of accumulation and training, are facsimiles of that truth. But in definition, it's the path of seeing where it is definite. And that is the doctrine. No.
Captain Jamain Baja, Loshi Yunasin, Tamaranzo, Yulia, Namjugi, Sherabji, Loshi Yores, Ticabre, Ticamare, Silvas, no a ding on the Conjab Chitugumare. Dichitugre, Dichitugumare, Namjugi, Logic, Maranzo, that Yores, Cassidi Yuna, and then Lua maybe Jab Sanje Jumdin de la Jab store. Rixosita, Sanje Jumdin de la, and a captain, Susugula, Namjugi, Sherabji Yorwa. Dijab Tugre, Dijab Tugumaresia, Namji Yuna, Sanje Jumden de Yajila, and it just to Rigres, Jeda.
Now, what we have is this wisdom mind that can discriminate whether someone is worthy of going for refuge in them or not. So thus, if someone has the intelligence to differentiate between what is a refuge, what is not a refuge, it's appropriate for him to go for refuge to the unmistaken or undeceiving protector, the Blessed Buddha.
Oh, there are any children can do Bunjo and Songres, Rapena, the Kundi jumped to the Juvale, Sanje Shudan can do Tower to an jobs. Sanje Chu can do the Tower to an jabres, that job done Jama in Benamju Logilena, and the Sanje Gunjo job thing over than Chugunjo. Yes, and you could job them Babo, Chugunjo Jam can do Gunjo shoot Betadosita. Then go res, Carasana Sanje Chu can do de Dungele Tower to Yichi Jares, 먼저 동일에 타고 되고 알아봐. 먼저 동일하지 이건 되고 알아봐. 근데 타고 되고 알아봐. 되고 요나 되더니 잡지 그랬으나 안 고졌으면 이게 세상인데 타와 되와는 이게 선제 수단 근데 타와 되와는 이게 숨어디 다다든지 에스라.
And this also characterizes the Dharma jewel and the Sangha jewel as being worthy of refuge or not. As the quotation says from the 70 verses of Going for Refuge, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha are the refuge for those who want liberation. So seeing Buddha as the teacher, the Dharma as the actual, Dharma jewel as the actual refuge, and the Sangha as the supporters or helpers. If one is wanting that liberated state, and we are, it is to those three rare sublime ones we take refuge in.
제가 난다 겨울 머신에 던다 빈두전도 선대나라 겨울은 요한데 숨에를 와 주시바지 뭐 겨울은 저 디지자서 그러와 겨울신으로 시인의 등이 된신바 디지 고와지도 지신 참여점에 접선되고 된 탈랑자와서 같이 당연히 제가 잡단 잡만이면 남바 쉬어쳐와라 din이 남자 쉬어그래서 로좀 쳐와라 템바니 남자 군조되면 남자 그래 난데만 남자 그래 디쉬어그래서 디쉬에서 나나 아니 디시 남자 디싱그래서 딱 군조된 발라 거와라 주베림바 내가 거와 도베림바 용고여로 누군준다 되고도 돼 아드네 네네 지카서래 덴바 동반이 남자 디쉬인데 아니 뉴모 방바 봉제기 람 디 돈이 도베다 람도조 시행거와 디니 콜 투지 그람로와 아 딜라디네 니 콜 투에 태와 고된 토비운데 아니 다 가서래베 디시코와 디시랑이 와니 디니네 디시랑이 와니 디시랑이 와니인데 니 교수는 참여점에 진짜당아서 들은 유사지고 될라야 니 치신에 대화토 거래했어야 돼 산지군조 가래, 추군조 가래, 근육군조 가래. 다 추군조 먼저 시에 두고요. 이나 산지군조를 김진 삼단은 시에 두고요. 그래요. 김진 삼단이 신야다. 체매 강리 신야 무슨 신야 신단 방구 지어와. 그래서 이 용무요. 저는 이 겨울음식 시내에서 땜바니 남샤데 야고지 시나 안 디시 남샤데 신그레스. 디시 남샤데 신에서는 군조스나 체메자명이 원이 그래서 신에 대화 터바지 그래서 이유나 아니 근데 미들라 탈람 자오즈 그래서 다 타war랑 거 자오즈 선dem기데 산제 추르든 유데 타워되는 갭 예송소 여기도 집에 나라 제단데 타워되는 갭 세우데 네 근데 다지 반림디 디 만으로도 상로 당고야지 상로 당고를 다 뒤에 상든데가나 당기나 난고 뿌 타고지 차그러 알아
Now, there is a verse from His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, in the praises to the 17 Nalanda masters, that by understanding the two truths as a basis, one will come to know how we enter into and leave cyclic existence by way of the Four Noble Truths, and therefore come to see that Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, the three rare sublime ones, are valid sources of refuge, and under that to strive for liberation. So here, with the basis of relative truth and ultimate truth, we can further understand the Four Noble Truths in terms of how we enter into cyclic existence, but also how we reverse that. Now, reversing it in terms of knowing emptiness, when we get to the path of seeing, understanding what to abandon, the objects of abandonment, obtaining a true cessation. This is what is meant by knowing the three rare sublime ones. So first, the two truths as a basis, the Four Noble Truths as the mode, and then seeing that they are valid with valid cognition. Then one's faith in the three jewels, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, becomes strong. So really what is being said is that in the context of developing faith in this modern world, we can understand Dharma, but it is through knowing Dharma that we can come to see that Buddha was a valid being. So it is through knowing that Dharma jewel that we can come to see that, oh, what Buddha said, makes him a valid being, a valid teacher. Yeah, so therefore the last part of that quotation, in dependence on that, please bless me to go for the liberated state. So if we think on this, if we can think on those steps, then we'll have an excellent understanding of Buddha Dharma. Oh, please take off your hat.
Oh yeah. 네. 단다디 가서 그래. 근데 뒤가 하지. 나 전에도 선제군주 출군주 써야 되다 배야 다른 거 쉬어지래 샤스로. 안 졸라다. 출군주 장모 써야 되다. 레 가고래 샤스로. 장모 써야 돼. 영화를 하면 dost다. 무슨 잠예지다 가고래 샤스. 근데 튕기러 알아. 망고직 된데 튕거 장로 남사 안에 지야 지 된데 지 짜지 파유 거에서 저거 동해 탐제 매우 속어서 같은 bil
람상 러브시.
람산을 지 된데 지 삼고게로 왔 다디 안에서 토블에는 이 된데 영화 열애로 왔다 이나 단단 말아줘라 된데 지 삼다야게 시림 된데 열애에서 와 말아줘래 단다 지냠내 집에 주림나라 네 최근주 장모였어야 돼 거든지 네 영영에 터는 냠용 터네 네 열애에서 와도
There are some that think the three rare sublime ones, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, are really far away from oneself, particularly with regards to the second jewel of Dharma, that I couldn't possibly get it. I couldn't possibly manifest it. How could it be a protection for me? And they may be thinking, of being protected all at once as if suddenly you're free of suffering. Well, that is the case for a highly realized being, but even for us, if we understand the steps properly and understand qualities of the Dharma jewel, we can do that. We can ascertain it.
Pena ngaranzoda pena tomba jumdendele yiji chejerwa.
No.
아니 주준 준시에게 연락와 주준 준시에 주는다 주준 준시에 저와 준시에게 주이나 야면은 콘로 잡으시니 나와 아니 당아 도마준데들 잠도 치긴 있어 도마준데 그 준시에게 말했어 도스 근데 켈렌셰위나 딩엘라 준시에위나 아니 준시에와들 때네 당고수수 마지워와 수수 마지워요래 아 미싱이 이제 마체와다 근데 그 준기 대부나미 대부들 뭐 뭐요래 아니 겨와제말라야 준시에와 되게 세델라 미 이제 메와 차거를 겨와지메 수수 틱라 이제 메와 차야 돼서 준기 대부 차거로 아 딜라데네 아니 레지 겨와 지 둔돌레 겨와래야 소르던데 용고요라 딱 한다로 준 숙충부시에도 둔돌레 겨와래야 소르던데 용고요라 둔돌 겨와래는 동의시 용고로다 제가 준시에는 더 동의 배디 동의 세델라 용고야다 겨와지메네 지만 용고야 먹고시도와 다 들으네 준시 미 랍사서는 준디 빵샤나 아니 준 빵배니가 되네 이 당기나 시게 지 동해 되게 매우 차도고라 진짜 다가라는 게 캘린체와 다가라는 게 수수 마음과 동해 마요야 겹고다 사무디 다나로와 디 겹고도 하대
And then if one has conviction in what Shakyamuni Buddha said, for example, not to tell mistruths or not to become completely angry, as followers of Buddha that take refuge in Buddha, we should take that, understand that. So we understand then that before we tell a mistruth, we think, oh, I better not tell a mistruth, I better not tell a lie, because it makes you upset and others upset. But also the karmic result of lying is that no one believes you. You know, that can be a direct maturation. And then future lives, also there, if it's a big lie, the karmic result can be an animal rebirth, and the suffering there is great. So then understanding that telling mistruths has a result in this life and future lives, then just by making the strong resolve, you know, I won't lie because you know the results that come, then just making that resolve, you're protected from the suffering that would ensue if you did it. So there is that kind of protection right away. Freedom from suffering.
제가 저도 직상로 망고 땅에 있는 아니 최체 식체도 편도 요와데 하고 용으로 배나 단다 추군저 장고 인사데 다도 요 콘로 사오제나 그래서 내도 담는 용으로 콘로 농사고 되는 대비나 농대바 되게 미신다 마가오차 수수마지와 차야 아니 겨와시말이야 도엉에 보든지 겨와내야로 네 지 근데 차고를 미참에 마가오차야 도엉에 된데 겨와낸 거 용으로 배 둔두질레네 동에 미질레네 동에 동에 버지야데 노야도 지 콘로트게다 나미 데빙이 소라 다 콘로데나 다 딘데 젠야가나 도야래로 기와시마다 세데 세다가라레나 조분용으로 도다도 미 코르니 용으로 도다 밀롱사오데 미시라 코르니 용어다로 밀롱사오즈데 롱데니에서 데 도야래 시기도 알아야 도다 도그레다데 롱땡그레스 셈나네 돈다르지 유네 도야라베 셈베즈 비자게요도 다데 컨데치오이나 섬 아니 벨레베이네 투즈툰디질라 도고도고다 도야게라 데니 도문다라 콘도사워디 미 콘도사워디를 찍도안 저런저 에너지 레이도 지 미워도 지 친다 사워지도 하자다 아디 콘도도 빵샤나 콘도디 다 드리네가 콘도 빵게 콘도 땡게메 빵샤나 아니 수수에 기와와 미기와 콘도메니 미데라 소바 미네 지 미타모 가보시기도 알아. 아니 미 수수이네 미 콘도메니 지 내당 컨데 두자스나 콘도만라니 미지 미 수수라 소바단 참바지 미지 텔 레디 아니 돈이 두면다 대 대니 두고다 알아. 어디 제단데 콘도빵바디 컨데 쳐봐도 제가 추군제 누구 추군제 제도 맞으러 와. 예, 진짜 추군제 제도 콘도빵기 인사하게 상로대 람된 제도 맞지. 콘도빵야데 빵바디 꼭된 제도 맞지. 추군제다. 뭐 람된다 꼭된이 제도 맞지로 다오지 리고데. 제가 네네 리신베는 당도 찍찍니 지금 냠내 제바데 팬도지 도스. 아니 찍찍사 니사 숨사 되네 야야야去破万那去地国讲破不看个了，但那是狂么看用过了，那天那是我都写的那原的，就开始过来的，原的马上着，牛肉着，都写的那出过去讲过一些的，考的这几个那个那南北去起来的，这米对切别说了是吧？동해지도 다들 자야게 누가지 여러시고도 최고도 생이소리 최고에서리 지는 뒤깔래 가그래요. 다 동해니 도 다들 세바지 최고를 시기도스러 와. 아래 라마든데 시기도 아니 매 시기도 고물루드게 송구도 아니 여름지게 송구도 아니 도마전데 송구도 뒤 최고에서라나 뒤 뉴슈리거 뒤 저란서 뉴슈리거 심나 마지울리거 안 진이 두고 말아대로 근데 매워지 수수 팬도여지 냠뇨지 라트용데 가난지 레인 거로 가난지 레나니 쳐줘야 되라 좀 슈츠르 남바 뿌 타고지 심 딩네 차 아니 오늘 다 주어도라 대체는 쳐줘야 돼 그래니 주어다야 돼요 아니 심디 주어단 거요 심 주어디 야가 쳐단데 야가 되요는 수수 주어용 거로 어디 삼는 망못 땅 거제 다 네게 찍찍제 가능해서 냠네 가르쳐 그래 켈렌션 냠네 치투비나 안치 니 숨시 갈래갈래 야루야 도레스로
In terms of the Dharma jewel being the actual protection, if we look at the example of anger, first it's important that we think in terms of the benefits of the Dharma jewel. And in terms of anger, we think of the demerits, like no one likes to be around an angry person. And that's one of the most immediate results, but also that in the future one can be born with an unattractive appearance, whether one be human or animal. So these are like the direct maturational results of a mind that's angry. And not only that, we know from our experience that if a person is always quick to flare up or irritate or is angry, no one wants to be around them, or you're nervous to approach them, or even you do meet them, but you don't want to stay long. And then often we talk about someone's energy or vibration is like that. So if one can make kind of a resolve to reduce or from today give up anger, you'll find that that person will be more peaceful, more happy, and then everyone will like that person, and not, contrary to the previous example, people will want to be with them because they're forbearing and loving kindness attitude, and they won't want to leave being around them. So here, just this example of working on protecting from anger, we can talk about it being like a facsimile, like a similitude, let's say, of the Dharma jewel, because what you're going for, in fact, is the result, which is the result of absence, meaning the true cessation. But when you're training in that true path, you're working at reducing the anger. So in this context, the few words, one or two words or verses that we have are so beneficial if we understand them, because slowly those words will fill our cup, and then the cup will be full. So then the qualities hopefully will go up and the faults go down. And understanding this, we can see that the Dharma jewel is the true protection. It is not enough to say that one should remove suffering, and this is how it's done because a Lama says it's done this way, or Nagarjuna advises it, or His Holiness says it, or Shakyamuni Buddha says it. That's not enough. There should be a notion of the Dharma jewel for us being a valid jewel, because we can see the change that undergoes in our very mind through experience, and there should be joy in that.
어디 교육 무슨 세티체 좋아. 다 교육들라 교수의 균생 카레스 나라와 다니바. 군조 숨디 교수 균생 카레스 라비나. 근데 균생디 라니 지고 탐제를 트버레스. 제가 산저 군조 추군조 군두 군조에 지고를 트버레스. 지고요 말레스. 신 지고를 트베 탑락해봐. 균생이 네 수수 지고를 트 수수를 지고를 트면서 미신 지고를 트베 탑락해봐 요레스. 아니 샘지 군라 투지 첨부 니리메와 주바서와 이제 담제라야 니 투지게 닌지 첨부데 니리메와 주도 그랬어 가리나 샘지 간대직다 수술라 펜타나레 펜마다나레 와다 디제게 된 제투 제와 직배 답지 저지 차고라 저지 매나 용고 말와 세상 줌진 숨제로 줌진 시와데 대한 산제 코너라 유정 원줄러서 보라 메와로 잡수 줌진 숨보데 라지고 탐제를 줘 신지고를 줘 탈러고 군로 투지심 니는 주베 윤네데 아니 펜타마다 탐제를 된제버데 줌진 시도와 줌진 시데 산제 코너라 요레 산제라 요레스로 아네 원줄러서 보라 치료별 하도줄래 요 말에스 어디서 거래
Next, page 60, the reasons why they are worthy to be refuges, talking about these four qualities that are only possessed by Buddha, not possessed by someone like Vishvara or Wangchuk. So someone who firstly is free from fear, secondly, skilled in means of liberating others from fear, thirdly, steeped in great compassion toward everyone without closeness or distance. So having an equal attitude to all. And in this context, of course, there has to be a connection with the sentient beings. And fourthly, who works for the welfare of all those who help him or do not help him. Such a one who possesses these four qualities, and these are only possessed by a Buddha, is worthy of refuge. No.
어제다 다 데려와고 가라와 베나만저 미지글이야 아니 배샤 되기나 당무 수술을 배샤 걸어 벤조 걸어 봐 미지라 칼라 되기나 칼라데 때 차진디 예수 상고 걸어 대나시 당무 란지고 탐제를 줘야 돼 데려와 당무 수지고를 주고 그래서 신지고를 줘야 탈락해 봤다 수수 지고를 줘야 있는 탈락 켜면은 지고를 돼도 탈락 켜는 가르고서는 신심심심뭐 신심심고로 신심심고래 아니 렌데 남자도 신고를 단다 동네 와도 겨우마무는 레사르스 라빈데 티처럼 산조레스 라빈데 미신달로 콘데디아멘도 오세아디 레용으로 먼저 콘도세아디가 망보지 매업서셔가 너는 어디 신지고래도 아니 그걸 도지시면 일이 마주 와서다 지 도와심제 동제 펜타가 나래 펜마다가 나래 아니 저도 탐제라 심제 탐제라야 아니 니링 딩에 니레 딩에를 파지 찍을 차더니 찍다는데 요든데 매워세 탐제 주도레스 세상 딘데게 다지 나란저이나 수수 펜도 진이질 파 펜도 지그러 수 펜도 마진이질 야자고 뭐라 산제 딘데 요 말레스 펜다나레 마다나레 전다제 야레스 세상 어다 디 체주에 디게 줌젠도 줌젠단데 말해도 와라
All of these four characteristics are supported with reason. For example, if you want to give money to someone, you yourself need money first. Similar to how can you free others from their fears if you yourself are not free from fear? but it's not enough that you are free from fear as well. You have to have skill and means to free others from that state of fear. In this context, then, you have to know the dispositions and proclivities of others' minds and know their karma and know, for example, how karma works in terms of, well, you did this because of anger and such and such. So things like that. And also the factor of whether sentient beings benefit you or harm you, you have an equal attitude to them. In that context, you'll help them whether they benefit you or not. With us, we tend to only want to help those that help us or that we are close to, but not so much with those that harm us. So in that context, all of these four have reasons.
Oh yeah, that is Japanese. He didn't be children Gindulan just progress. Today in that didn't be Chukunjo than Gindukunjo to Zolayan. Didn't be children, Chukunjo, Nindu can do so. Then you can do Pawanje, Nindu Pawara, Yepawa, or the Zolayan, just to go, just over just over with Kimzin share.
Okay, and then also in dependence on that, the above, worthiness of those four factors, then the Dharma taught by him also is worthy, as well as the Sangha of heroes are also worthy to be refuges as well. Buddha Dhamma Sangha.
Tena duwane sungpa tena la ngewa tangwe zechikwe lodo chanwe na serwa. Ta duwane tanda ma sung shenjo ke jumze de ye de ne. Jik samlo tangyo je susu lo la ya ji ne cha ya ji yungu res. Jik tende lo ji cha samlo tangba ina. Lo je misiwa ma res. Nying takwa ne ngewa jewa jik cha go res. Ta tende yungu res. Ane rangjo wala yunyi la rwa. Rangjo wala yunyi jigwa dan teba nyi rwa. Te chi gyu ma sama mewa tenpe, da chi gi gyu da nang gyu siya na, gyu nyi la yang tende samda nang di gore. Chi gi gyu nyi, chi gi gyu nang gyu, gyu yin rwa. Chi gi gyu ji kare se na, ane, tenpa jom den de rwa, chu tenpa bo yo wa. Nang gyu, ane, lo ke ne gyab simba ma chung wa, ane, dunga wa yinpe che rwa, sta che da. Nāngi jīndi sūsū yūli yā tā jī sāngyē chū guñchū tījē lā yī chē wē lō kērwā sī tē pē tēndē jī gugō rē, yī līng kērwā jī gugō rē. Pē chā xā nā tī, namchū tāng tī, namchū nā rū tī zāngā lā nē, namchū tī ngā jī sā rō shī tī ngā tū, tā namchū tāng nī tī kēng ngā mā shī wā jī, mā namchū mā sā wā jī ngā rō shī nā sām tsa jī, namchū tāng nī mī tī lō jī yī jī rō wā jī, tā yī chā rāng kē. 그래서 소리 겨울시 삼선을 지르지 레도 어떤 데지고 왜래다 이게 르게셔야 돼 로게셔야 돼 전다도 데지 가는 거고요 레스로
So, and then about the conviction, or the faith, we said there were two, the fear and the faith. And that being so, once you have derived certainty with regards to these objects of refuge set forth in the compendium, when you're able to rely on them with a single pointed mind, it's impossible for you not to be protected. So there are these outer, or we could say there's like an outer and an inner way of going for refuge, like externally we'll go for refuge in Shakyamuni Buddha, but in an inner sense, it is your mind that is placing trust or never giving up on Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, similar to if a plane is going through a difficult period. It could seem like it's going to crash, but then you think, oh, pilot, please help me. Please take care of my life. So such an attitude generated from the bottom of your heart. Or Buddha Dhamma Sangha.
세상 데 깜로스야 데 수수의 심디 교육 군조 초시야 이치 롱게 들로디 세상 깜로스야 데 수수 규는 만들어지 규를 보고 요래서 봐
Nice. So on a causal level then of going for refuge, that is in our mind. Yes.
어디지? 나 되네. 나 숨바디 카레다. 가는데 just do it. You 틀리네 just do it. You 지상 just som에 주세. 다 just do it 카레스 나스로 왔다. just do it. 금전들에 있는 텔라 just do it 카레스 나 숨발라 시스. 윤대시와 겨와시와 켈랑바. 현대 미매 just som와 다들라 대전 시도와.
Yes. So then also, however, since the internal cause taking hold of that refuge trustingly has not come about, we suffer. Next point is the way in which to go for refuge as much as possible. There are 4 of these. Understanding excellent qualities, understanding particular characteristics, the assertion, and not advocating other ones.
윤대시와라 당보들라 아니 짜고 윤대 챙고 봐야 될라 와 될라 숨 짜고 윤대 챙야 될라 숨 산제 군주 추군주 군주군주 윤대 챙바스와
No,
네 자 산제 군주 윤대 챙발라 구윤대 송윤대 투윤대 틀레 윤대 세제 아니 윤대 시고네 마샤고 레스와
no. So going for refuge, understanding the excellent qualities and their particularities, assertions, and not advocating other ones. So firstly, looking at the qualities, understanding them, the Buddha's excellent qualities, the excellent qualities of Dharma, the excellent qualities of Sangha. Firstly, the excellent qualities of Buddha. We're going to look at the qualities of Buddha's body, speech, and mind. And then fourthly, enlightened activities.
다 당보 산제의 윤대 시 윤대 산제다 아니 산제의 천단 배제남 첨바체 됐어 산제라 천성 무슨 주장이 배제성부 개주 어두도 챙고레스 벨라 되발레스 규구 천지 제지와 제규미게 되제니 디미 되지 나갈라 가면서 지대바다스 투바 세지 돈데 마 추고이네 요 투바 세지 주 제모네 참지 된지 되바다스 건주 진지 마진자 세지 진고 당간인 다외 진고 지간이 진단처와 대전이 규제시에 뱀 빼면인데 가지고 봉화서든 되게 주변은 규제 세제 도대마 참가르제와 다디네마 천성부 숨지 잔이디 배제성부 자주简单다 도저게 아니 돈다디게마 송용고를 천성부 숨지 잔이다 배제성부 자주 산제 그 구인된 시기여와
Firstly, the excellent qualities of Buddha's body, looking at these 32 major and 80 minor signs. So it was gone through. Your body is adorned with the signs, beautiful nectar for the eyes, like a cloudless sky in autumn, ornamented with clusters of stars. O sage endowed with the color of gold, beautiful dressed in monastic robes, like a golden mountaintop, wrapped in clouds at dusk or dawn.
그것이
Protect your
코바타 보면 just 디나마로시 티바트
Okay, protect your facial circle splendor, although unadorned by jewelry, is beyond that of the moon disk, although vast and clear of clouds. If the lotus of your mouth and lotus in bloom in the sun are beheld by a bee, the bee will have its doubts about the lotus.
오다 디게디 천상 디게 시고와 하단다 천상 조약이 규주도 아니 나랑도 디레 라마 겔 수와 당서 나랑도 아니 최순이게 라마 파 주딘디 슈 파게야 아니 라마 페디지 사조 장마소야 디조다 베 천상 조약이 규 모두 샤라다 단당 나랑도 라마 지피기어와 다 라마 차그러와는 혼자다 차기로 최순디 라마 차로라 라마다 배야지데 모두 담아서야다 안키지체다 근데 제데 천상 조약이 유차고래 더도 답에 그거 야고 쉬우지래와 갈래도 되지 요르다 갈래 야tum나 아니 집산 요 갈래 있다 와 갈래 맞아와 되고 용마라
And what then are the causes for such signs, a body endowed with the signs and marks? For example, when the Lama or Guru comes to teach, you invite them and escort them, you clean the place. So for example, we have a Lama that's going to visit here, and then the Lama will teach here. So this is a good opportunity for us to create these causes by cleaning and preparing the place. Of course, one has to put effort into it to get the result. If you don't put in the effort, you won't get the result.
Oh yeah, that good deal shi. Da ni wa sung la deal ba de ba. Ji den ji kang sem ji kang yo ba tu ji de. Tu wa min da wa de ti yang sem ji ge ji ji dang. Ane den be sherab ji sung ne sa. Ne sung ji gi tu ba tham je ji len je ba ro. Tian nam ji yang ran na ji ge de ko wa ji wa shen de. Ane me de chung wa sang ba da. Sung ane ji den ji kang sem ji ma gui tu wa ya de ji le ti sha bi ne ya. 아니 셰럽 예지 신제 저런 잡된 찍라 아니 심지 수수 렌 탐제 잡어야 다 게도 저베 할게 루이도 제가 산제 준비돼 이 최선을 하다 류단데도 와 아니 송대 찍라 할할 해게 고 루루루게 고 밀미게 고 든든든 루게 고제 아니 최선샤웨다 데 송게 연대레스로
What then are the qualities of Buddha's holy speech if all of the beings in the world put a question to Buddha and just one answer, they would hear the answer in their language? So there would be gods present, nagas, animals, and their individual understandings in their language would be heard.
예단다 딘사 닌데도 이메 단지지라 이기 단데 메시지 단지지라 분라망 도야로 앱스인데 세요라다 때 산제 딘데 용시즈로 아니 게 직바 주르드 게 망몰 주제시 이도야 딘데 도와로 아주 주르도 저래다 근데 아니 요 딘데 용시즈로다 아니 이게 투지 되는데 망고담제 직나는 두려야 딘데 도와로 다디나 시송게 연대도서 딘데지 요미시오 멤버다 인산 빼도서 닝제고도 와로
These days there are apps, aren't there? And if they're spoken into, they can translate into many languages, and or one mail can be sent to many, many people. These are good examples for us to understand that this could be.
Oh yeah, 다디네 이게 콩디 덴바버 리레스 데다 심지군 잉이베트 망보다지 뒤지슈는 심지 깨지지가 돈에 좀 소양지기 소소 내야데 대다와는 덴바지데나 참배 라야 숭로 쳔베즈 데네 라미도베 타르쳔베 추주 콜로라도 고와제 제숭베 추지상 다디 콩디 예드레 다젠나 숭지기 단다데 당이 콩디 슈바다 숭지 레망고지 네 티바 망고지 레 투지지도 숭도야 당 아니 지 다든데게 네 송년보당 그러나 알아서 콘서트 송도 년보쇼다로 년보쇼지도 하시나 한디 다지 된데게 네 송이연데 와 된데 요거 요레스타디 쿵시브레와
So now, the source for this ability of Buddhist speech, the chapter of the Truthful One says, if thus all beings in one single moment ask a question in many specific words, his mind comprehends them in a single moment and answers them all with one melodious statement. Thus know that the melodious Brahma voice of him who gives instructions rings forth in this world. He thoroughly set in motion the wheel of Dharma, eradicating the suffering of God from men. So there is that quality of Buddha's speech that is very sweet. It is like when we hear His Holiness teach, his voice is very nice or sweet.
다데네 숨바 투고연데 와 투고연데 고연데 송연데 투고연데 구송토로와 치매인데 제외인데 톡수도 심리 류가 예술이다. 거대시는 톡 시에서시고요. 나 인질레 시에서지다 유능한 하모로. kimbayende, zewayende, ne kimbayende de sheje chidawa da jinyiwa tamje la de gyurera sheje de towamyo ngawa na sheje tada tube kimbekine tile shimbananji sheje gyachewa da sheje gyachungwa na machawa yinwas yada chidawa da jinyiwa aslarwa chidawa da jinyiwa chidawa side tongmani re jinyiwa side kunzo tenpare wa chida tongmani da tunan tenpa da kunzo tenpa temani yi namsha tazo lakde di gyurera side ngazo lakbaji na la shoji shayi na ngazo tongurwa derwa de na shi ene gyurera sira gyurera shakwa tar kembala towame ngawa de na shi shije tamje ene tubege bede ta dende sikiyo reswa mangboda gyachimboda chojong kawai na da sanjeji ene tuki da kentugu yo reswa
No. And yeah, so we're going through the qualities of Buddha's body, speech, and mind. Now, the qualities of mind, there are these exalted knower qualities or omniscient qualities, and then qualities of loving kindness, the first of which is the exalted qualities of knowledge, that Buddha can see things not only as they appear, but as they are in the sense of their lack of intrinsic nature, ultimate truth, and as they appear, relative truth. Since all objects of knowledge, modes, and varieties are engaged by the sage's unobstructed, exalted knower, like a mirror-balayan fruit. Shingdoro. Mirror-balayan fruit, placed in the palm of his hand, the sage, as the exalted knower, comprehends all objects of knowledge.
제가 대직 시내에 오래 산재에 캠바데 시제 탐제들라니 캡도 우리 송도 캠바 타고에는 캠베 관계를 구이 잡슬라와 산재 세상에서 산재 수수 매화시는 가와이나 유언초 보시봐 가두이나 수수 디버타나 가두이나 제야유 되어지 무슨 산재에서 이제다 신강로질 야슈드메로 쟁라 이어머래 산재 최 탐제를 캠바 요인자 캠베 관계를 구이 잡스나 구독 제가 아데 나단 되어를 구독 송죽 세야지라 구단 투 송도 대외 인자 지기설 지요래 라연데 대내단의 직신부 있는 양은도 다 뒤에 수수 매화체나 산재 가와 있는 유대치 봐. 수수 매화체나 산재 가 유대치. 디시온도에는 수수지 가르서를 셈나라. 다 겹디 점니디도 거디 있는 유섬살 싫어. 이제 심무진한테 다른 거를 다 근데 이나한테 좀 사야다. 매화제 로도제다. 근데 얘가도 가러 된다.
This quality then of Buddha being an exalted knower, there's nothing that is not known by Buddha's holy mind, nothing which obstructs the direct understanding of the object. This is very important for us because when our non-virtues are purified. Actually, we think Buddha's in the Pure Land, but Buddha's holy mind pervades everywhere, and we can think of it in the context of Tantra, the union of body and mind, or body, speech, and mind being inseparable. So there's nowhere where Buddha's holy mind is not pervade. And if we have faith in that, that's very good, because then our protection is strong. But if you kind of think, oh, Buddha's somewhere way out there, and have like strange ideas, then it's easy to get wrong views.
좀된 두근 또 남군 중에 담제니 락두 규르라 다위스라 최지 투기 주와 산제지 투기 주레스 최놈이 요담이 요제 구조 장이 나를 구조만 장이 나를 직단 두만 나도 소소라서라 칼라롱다 주어신스 최지 투는 좀 맛이 세상 바나나 롱조도와 테나신 산제지 투데라 최직딩라인 최소소에 최 탐제라인 가와이나 요데 요지레스 제단디
The source to support that Buddha's holy mind pervades all space, all phenomena. There's nothing your mind is obstructed from, like wind moving to and fro in space. So this is from the praise of the one worthy of praise. Only your exalted wisdom encompasses all objects of knowledge for all the others apart from you. Some objects of knowledge remain to be known. And Blessed One, Dharmas of all times, all aspects, all places of origin, are spheres of activity of your mind, like the mirror Balan fruit in your palm. As regards dharmas, static or mobile, single or various and distinct, there's nothing your mind is obstructed from, like wind moving to and fro in space.
지상 산주는 뒤직되는 뒤에 산제는 소도 뒤직되는 뒤의 장단님의 산제 요래서야 돼. 안 뒤의 장단님 산제기 캠베인이 요인자. 아니 캠베 감제들 구이쳐버려 해서다. 어두스 채는 두고 열어.
This is how we can say that all of the Buddhas can be condensed into one atom, and Buddha knows, Buddha's holy mind can know all of those atoms as
상주.
oh, sorry, in the King of Prayers, in one atom, all the Buddha fields and Buddhas.
예, 따드네 뭐 제외 이제 dunda지마 샤자게다. 말해.
Should we leave love for next week?
예.
Love and kindness.
어디 샤바.
Okay. Sangye Shindo Mete Ama Sangye Jojo Chechano.
Rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha stay in teach. I now dedicate all this to the full awakening. I delegate all labor to the virtue with the dedication of raising the case. By the victorious one thus born of the three nine, that I might perform the body self-esteem. May the King of Dharma so come this way of Dharma practice and flourish. May the unkill obstacles be pacified, and all religious the circumstances be proclaimed. In the land encircled by snow now. Sorry, about the wrong paper. The wish for our wish for the world of peace. Save from snow and teaching the transmigrating from you to make it extremely clear the path of the purification of emptiness and compassion. That the lowest holders in the outside the selfish, my only wishes to be spontaneously fulfilled. You uphold subdue the moral way, preserve the bound of the miracle, sustaining, preserving the spiritual and victorious doctrine, and the handsomely accomplishment of the prayer of honoring the true truth. Labor myself and others, your disciples, please, of love. Very loud, not to be the relationship of myself and those in the true Christ. May the teachings of the Conqueror Lord Saint are not light or not time. And swift return for your beloved of God. We are the teacher and the same way of the Lord of the Glorious One, powerful and the deep words, the glorious of them, Father and Son, you come just for the everybody shown for the name, please restore the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here. Body straight, the way straight, and complete teachings. Submission of practice, you will be number of places, but in the limit of stars. Even travel there over to the place. Now striving simultaneously for the sake of victorious one's teachings, until we are way for all benefit and happiness and marriage, and with all other living beings who suddenly provide peace for great loss. Nevertheless, to the unassuming truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great waves of what he teacher of the children of the glorious one. and smile for reincarnation, to oblivion, the Lord, who will fortune.